All right, so I'm going to show you guys how I set up the gun. And one important thing that I noticed was keeping your tools clean. So one of the things that I do after we get everything cleaned up is I hit everything with this WD-40. It actually ships with oil all over it to keep it from rusting and corroding in shipping. So that's what I do every night after we clean everything up. I coat it down with WD-40 and I spray a whole bunch of WD-40 down inside there so this cavity doesn't rust. That's the part that actually has all the paint that gets supplied to your gun. But then before I do it, before I use the gun, I gotta clean all the oil out. So I just use regular automotive brake cleaner, which is basically helps dissolve and clean out all that oil. Squeeze the trigger. So this is just solvent. It'll evaporate extremely quickly. And in just a minute or so, this will all evaporate. Another thing is, if you squeeze the trigger part way, it just lets air out. If you squeeze the trigger all the way, it's air and paint. So I'll just squeeze it a little bit and let air circulate through and dry everything out before I start painting. And then I'll spray off to the side to get all that junk out of there. So I've already got the gun all set up the way I need it to. Only thing you really have to do is thread this guy on there, and that's it. And I would like to note, on some of those videos, they show that you should use a 1.8 tip. This one actually came with a 1.4 and a 1.8. The 1.8 is supposed to be for thicker paint, which obviously latex paint is very thick. So I've got me a little hook to help hold my gun while I'm messing around with stuff, because you'll find out very quickly there's no real convenient way to sit that gun down. So I'm just going to show you how we mixed all of our paint and how it came out. So again, this is interior paint plus primer. This was a $20 gallon of flat white paint. Flat because that's what we decided, you know, no rhyme or reason. We just wanted it to be flat because we're going to glaze it after we get done to match our fireplace. Another little thing is these, I got this at a paint store for $1, and it keeps all the paint from getting inside here, so whenever you seal it, it actually seals right. So, again, washer fluid. This is just a little bit bigger than that cup, so it makes it perfect for mixing. So I'm going to use a whole lot of this, about 20%, because I'm going to fill this whole thing up. So about 20% of washer fluid. Stir my paint really well. There's not a whole lot of paint left in here. I think there's probably about 1/4 gallon left. We used this entire gallon, but it was $20, and I painted all of the shelves, all of the doors in the entire entertainment center for $20. So here you go. So you can see this just like barely trickles off right now whenever it's just straight paint. Now whenever I put the washer fluid in there and mix it up, you'll see a complete difference. So that's just about all the paint I have left. I could probably get away with just a little bit more. I think I have just enough to do the rest of these shelves and stuff. So again, I said there's lots of dust in the air. I don't know if I'm going to need more paint, so I'm just going to try to keep the dust out of that. Mix this up. Can you get the way it looks in here? So it actually looks really blue, but then after you mix it for a minute, it's white and you can't even see the blue. And I keep mixing until the paint on the stick has dissolved. So you can see it's not dripping, it's running straight off. So it actually makes it like a watery consistency. But another important thing is you can't fill this gun all the way up. If you fill this thing all the way up, it's a pain in the rear end to use the gun because it's always top heavy. So I've been filling it up to about right there. It makes it a little bit easier. And then the other thing is once it gets down there, it doesn't spray anymore. Once the paint gets to about right here, it doesn't spray anymore hardly. I mean, it just doesn't, no paint comes out. So then I have to go and fill it back up. So that's part of the reason it took a while last night, because I was constantly having to fill up. Beautiful summer shower outside. So it makes it handy to have a garage. Of course, my cars are getting wet. My Vet's getting wet. I just washed it. Another thing they're going to tell you on all these videos is to strain your paint. This is a brand new gun, a brand new cup, and a brand new gallon of paint, so there's no chunks. So I don't have any reason to strain everything. If I had anything that was old, if I had an older gun or older paint or anything, I would definitely strain it. These are the little respirators we use. So that's pretty much it. That's how we mix the paint. I guess I'll hook it up real quick so you can kind of see the difference between painting and air pressure. So again, I've got my gauge set at 50 right now. And then as soon as I squeeze the trigger, it drops down, which is perfect. So I guess, so if I just squeeze the trigger a little bit, there's no paint. And it's just cleaning it out because I put all that solvent and stuff in there. And then if I squeeze it just a little bit more, paint comes out. So there you go. That's how I mixed all my paint. That's how I load the gun, everything.